Hello again. It's time for the epic legend Vladimir Kramnik against Magnus Carlsen. Kramnik, here around this time, he was still the top three players in the world was Kramnik, Anand and Carlsen, now around 2010-2011. Unfortunately, Kramnik quit chess, I don't know, maybe 2016 or something like that. He quit it way too early because he could still have, like Kasparov also quit way too early. They could at least have played good chess, interesting chess for at least like 10 more years. It's my guess that both Kasparov and Kramnik could have been world-class players for at least 10 more years, and it would have been very fun to watch them. Now, I think both of them regret quite a lot that they quit, because Kramnik tries to be relevant with some trolling posts on Twitter or so like that, but it's just more fun to see him like at the chessboard doing something he's good at, and same for Kasparov. He could definitely have had all chances to regain the world championship title against if he got to play Kramnik again. It's good. I think he would have good chances to regain the world championship title actually. And it's same now for Magnus, that hopefully Magnus tries to regain his world championship title, but it's just not the same. For example, I'm watching now the Olympiad, Magnus playing the Olympiad for Norway, but it's just not the same like watching Magnus against the 2500 or watching him against Nepomniachtchi or Dinglieren or some world-class player, like, or for example now like against Kramnik here. Well, that's enough of a rant. Let's look at this game. Kramnik is white and he plays the Catalan, and Magnus goes for this check here, and the most common here is knight. No, the most common is bishop d2. It's supposed to be the best way to play here for white. So here, interesting. These positions is quite hard to understand, like what should be my plan or so. But yeah, apparently Kramnik wants to play this one, and I don't really understand how you could have an advantage here, because like it looks like this bishop looks bad, but actually this bishop is even more bad, and here on a6 it could have some future. Of course white can just trade it, but then it's kind of like an exchange slab. This knight a3 was also a little bit weird. I thought maybe knight c3 looks a bit more logical, but maybe I was afraid for this one, but now that doesn't seem to work because of this, winning a pawn. So yeah, okay, but Kramnik is like a specialist, but both Magnus and Kramnik are probably the two best players in this kind of dry technical position, so I can't add much here. We just have to watch what they are doing. So interesting, he does bishop e7. I would like this one a little bit more, I think. The problem is that this field is not so much defended. Let's look at that again. This one looks best also to prevent this one that he does. So the critical thing is to go like here, and what if you take it, then go here. I don't know, I think this looks quite fine for black. This looks in my opinion, this looks like quite an even game here. But computer thinks it's a little bit better for white. So let's see what happened in the game. Magnus played here instead, and he did this. That's logical. And he threatened a knight, and it went in. And of course Magnus would be kind of happy if if this bishop is a bit bad, so if he just takes it, then that's something that black would be quite happy with. But he defended it instead, and then played here. And now he put the bishop where he should have put it in the first place. And then at once this come to try to go here. And interestingly, he does not take it. I guess with this knight here, if this one gets protected, it's a little bit better for white than the other line. Let's look at it. Take here. Okay, this one is hanging also. That's why he's going here, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This one looks quite good, but maybe you could trade it with knight b7, but not now because this would hang. Yeah, maybe this is a little bit better for white, but yeah. So let's see what Magnus does. He played b5. Computer likes that a bit better also. And looks like the computer thinks it interesting to take here and get a pawn and a rook for this one. Let's look at that. That's a bit interesting. This. Interesting that the computer thinks this is interesting. Usually the knights are stronger, but of course these are quite good. Okay, so this was one alternative. But there are some other moves also. Also something like rook c6 at once. Something. Rook c6 to defend the knight here, because b4 was a threat cutting off this guard here. Yeah, looks like black is keeping the balance here too. It's still this bishop. It's yeah, it's the same in what's they called it. Same in like the stone wall. Like this bishop is quite out of play because black has such a solid pawn chain here. Okay, so Kramnik took a pawn on a5 instead, but what is his plan here if black takes that knight? Okay, so he has to go here. Okay, so he wins back on a6. I see. Thing is that he wins back up on e6, but now black can win back a pawn on e5 here. And then rook b8 wins on b2. Still a bit weird that Magnus managed to win this game against Kramnik. Computer thinks it equal, but I would think it's a little bit better for white. Actually, this looks a lot like the game in the first game I showed you when I played white as Magnus against Magnus. I also had like a dangerous pawn here, but Magnus, he just pushed the central pawns and attacked me and won that game. It was a quite similar position to this actually, when I pushed a pawn and he pushed in the center and got an attack and won that game. It was the first game in the introduction that I showed. So let's see how Magnus managed to win this one. So Kramnik tried to trade queen. The computer doesn't like it. He likes this better. So what if he takes here? Okay, that doesn't work because he hasn't got any luft for his king. Luft is Swedish for air. It's like yeah, air. You need air to breathe. Like if you don't have any air, then and here like Black's king has no air. So they sometimes they call it luft. It's a loan word from Swedish. And so some thing that could be good here is to lufta. It's giving a place for some luft here. Okay. Yeah, this looks better. I don't really understand why it was such important to lose a pawn. Like maybe Kramnik thought. Yeah, even if Black can take this one and give the knight for this one, these 3 pawns should be a draw, I think. Okay, here it's interesting that he doesn't take that. It thinks it's more important to go back and block the pawn at a7. Otherwise he would have, if he takes here, then obviously I would have to block here, but then there is this risk that the bishop attacks. So it's probably good to block it here. Let's see what happens. But still, yeah, the computer thinks White has enough play for a draw here. Okay, so this one is also fine. So I wonder where Kramnik made his mistake here. But I would be a bit scared if I play White. I have seen these kind of pawns often getting lost. Like if Black just get a few moves, just take it, it's just over, like 2 pawns more. Like it's still apparently this is quite interesting that when Black's king goes to take this pawn, then the bishop goes like this and force either win back a pawn here or force them to go forward, but then it would get captured by the white king. So looks like it's still a draw here. Kramnik must have interesting if Kramnik saw, he must have seen that all the way when he played queen e3. That's very deep positional understanding of Kramnik, that he could like lose a pawn for nothing just to push his pawn and get that this would be a draw. I would think it's probably like lost for White, but the computer thinks like Kramnik that this is a draw here. No, sorry, press the wrong key on the keyboard. But of course you don't really want this position against Magnus, because he will not get bored. He will sit here like to tomorrow morning if he has to, and just play around. And if you make some kind of mistake, then okay, so this is also an interesting, like I see he played h3 because he's afraid of this fork. But what if he goes here and try to get the draw at once? How is that? Looks like this would also draw. If I were playing White, I would like to force the matter, because I don't like to just sit and wait in this kind of endgames, really. Let's look at what's happening. so that's not possible. Okay, yeah, so this is a draw. Okay, that's interesting, but Kramnik decided that this is safer, probably h3 here. Okay, so computer doesn't like this one. He likes try to force the matter a bit more, maybe. Yeah, it's wrong. Positionally, g4 is wrong because it put the pawn on the same square as your bishop, and you don't want that because that will allow black to put his pawn on dark squares where your bishop cannot attack it. So it's positionally wrong to play like that. Okay, that's interesting. Black's trying to trap the bishop, but he can get out via h7. So you can see if you go forward, black checks here, and take this pawn and run with this one, and it's apparently a win for black, so he has to go back. Kramnik saw that too. And now black can't defend this one, only way is this one, but then he could just go back. So he tries to check here, and king d6. Okay, so it's still close to a draw here. So apparently this is the losing move here. Bishop e7 is the losing move here. Only chance was this one. I guess he can't get in here, but what if he plays here? Yeah, now you already have to play very careful here. And what about this one then? Okay, then you can block it like this, and you don't let black king enter here. I see. Not so easy to see that you have to do that, but now black is winning here. Also notice the perfect position of the black knight. Like white can never try e4 because he can just take and trade everything. So perfect position. And this is typical. Good practice for black. He gives some checks and move around before he decided to do like the like final moves. He gives a check on f1 just to. It's good practice if you see that your opponent. The best for your opponent is to retreat, because it's both playing mind games with him, but it's also. You have the chance also that the opponent makes a mistake and do something else. So now we see why this is wrong color, because if let's imagine white had a dark squared bishop here, he could just like eat and all the pawns and easy draw, but because these are on the wrong squares with his positional mistake g4, then yeah, no. black is winning. Also, this is also nice that he's like trapping himself here, but the knight should be able to do something here, I think. Yeah, now h3 is undefendable. But still here, only one move to win here. Have to do king h4. And I guess point is that if he goes here, then here, like here or something. Yeah, then this is a draw. But if the king is here, what happens then? Okay, this is a really nice tactic. I see it now. Like if you go here, I thought like why, like of course you can't do g4 because it will get taken and it's a draw, but black has an awesome Zugzwang. White cannot move anything here, and if he takes that, like if he takes that knight, obviously black is winning because he's king in front of the pawn, and if white moves the king, he will lose the bishop. So that's just an awesome Zugzwang by Magnus. So he saw that. Kramnik too. Okay, and now he does f5 here. Okay, so what if he takes here? Here. And here is only one move. It's only here. But it's of course because yeah, this is obviously a win for black. So nice game by Magnus, winning black against one of the 3 strongest players in the world. This time Carlsen, Anand and Kramnik are the top 3 players in the world. Anand is the world champion, but Carlsen is highest rated, of course. So next time we'll look at the final game of this nice tournament here in Wijk 2011. See you then.